it begins to get scared because it's like, oh shit, I'm going to lose him, I'm going to lose her. So then it's like, let me take my fear and give it to him or her. So then they begin to feel fear. And then they associate that fear with taking a step forward. And because now you're afraid to take a step forward, you end up not taking a step at all. But then due to how the universe works, due to you being a microcosm of the universe, and due to the magic M of the universe, that fear that you have gets magnified. And how does it get magnified? It gets magnified through creating circumstances that maintain, perpetuate, and give you something to be scared about. Very, very dangerous trick. This is why you see all the time when people have been in toxic relationships or unfunctional relationships and they've come across someone good, the old frequency that has been created over years of toxic partners and being treated badly is now alive, it exists, so now it wants to continue giving you bad partners because it wants to stay around. But now when it can feel you getting into a functional relationship, it begins to get scared, so it projects that fear onto you. Then that fear gets magnified through you probably self-sabotaging yourself, through picking arguments and all these silly things. And you can see somebody who's in a relationship that should be perfectly fine, all of a sudden doing the absolute most. I see this with clients just before they're about to go to the next level, they end up taking a big loss or going through some form of adversity because their old frequency scared projects that fear onto them. That fear gets magnified and compounded into reality that materializes as a circumstance that gives them something to be afraid about, which then, because remember, fear is a powerful attractor field for what you don't want to come find you, a beacon of light. So then they get scared and they're like, oh, I might as well stay here. And this happens more often than you think. Extrapolate this to any aspect of your life. Think about any time you're about to move to a new level. You're scared. Why? Not because you're scared, because the old frequency is scared. And it projects that fear onto you. So you internalize that fear as associating that step forward, that new reality with fear. So then you don't take a step. But then when you do take an attempt to take a step, by then you have already internalized the frequency of fear. And because you've internalized the frequency of fear, you then materialize a circumstance or a condition of reality that perpetuates something for you to be afraid of. And this is simple. Anytime that you get scared in your progression, understand what it is. You're like, that's not me. That's you. It's not me, it's you. And once you do that, you completely flip the game. And you transmute the game entirely, because now it's like, the hell? And because of that, the balance, the scales completely change. The tables turn. And you're no longer the one who's feeling fear, because you know that fear isn't yours. It's the old frequency projecting it onto you. It's very, very tricky, innit? It's very, very tricky. It's like what Sun Tzu said. He says, if you know yourself and the enemy, you don't need to fear the result of 100 battles. And he says something else to the effect of, if you know yourself but not the enemy, with every win you will take a loss, or something like that. It's a great quote. I'll get AJ to put it up. Extremely metaphysical.